Okay, not gonna lie. Mismatched pronouns just hit differently. They just hit differently. Because even if you're cool with being called like any gender term, because you don't really care about gender, so maybe gender terms don't really mean that much to you anyways. But still mismatching them just hits so much harder because you just know that it's gonna confuse people and challenge people to kind of question it. So I like mismatched pronouns. Hello baby queers and welcome back to my channel. It is time for some NB TikTok. Because why not? And when I say NB TikToks, it's gonna be anything ranging from gender fluid to non-binary to agender. Basically anything on that spectrum. So yeah, I will look forward to it. But you know the deal. Before we continue, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water or some tea or whatever else you like to drink. And then we'll look at some more TikToks. Are you hydrated? Good. Let's go.
For all the they themers out there, I found this psychological hack that gets people to gender you correctly every time. Introduce yourself as he, they. And the reason that this works is because when cis people are given a choice of pronouns, they're always going to choose the one that they are most comfortable with. Like, when I was they, them before, everyone would misgender me as she all the time. And now when I'm giving them a choice of he, they, they're using they, them like it's so easy. Because to them, they is what aligns most closely with my assigned gender at birth. And sure, maybe it's a little transphobic, but if you actually like they, them pronouns, just give them the option of choosing, and they'll always choose the one that feels the least trans to them, which may simply happen to be the actual pronouns that you use.
Okay, not gonna lie, that is kind of brilliant because you're kind of using people's transphobia against them. Because they're like, well, no, but I see you as a woman, so I can't use he. So I'm just gonna use they because I don't want to seem too rude. Honestly, that's just, it kind of works. Like, if you want people to use they, them, and you're not that bothered if they would actually use he, or if you're AMAP, if they use she, if you're not that bothered by it, that seems like a pretty good option. Because honestly, normally, like other queer people, when you tell them, oh, I go by he, they will probably use both sets at like any random given like point. But if you're trying to get the cis-hets to gender you correctly, doing this might really help.
My name is Hannah, and this is my voice 0 weeks on T. My name is Hannah, and this is my voice 2 months on T. My name is Hannah, and this is my voice 3 months on T. My name is Hannah, and this is my voice 4 months on T.
My name is Hannah, and this is my voice 9 months on T. My name is Ray, and this is my voice 1 year on T.
I really like the hair colors. I really like it. Because honestly, I really enjoy it when people have colorful hair. Because, listen, I have ADHD, I get bored so easily, which is why my hair color also kind of changes a lot. But it just looks cool. But back to the point, I kind of like these voice updates. I used to be obsessed. But it was just so interesting to see how it changes for people. And it also really reminded me that I need an eyebrow slit again. Because, honestly, their eyebrows, I feel like got so much thicker. My eyebrows basically didn't change at all. They got a little bit fuller, I think. But they basically look the same. See, that's the thing. T works differently for everyone, which is why I watched like a lot of these pre-T. But honestly, it's still just so amazing for me to see. So, yeah.
Alright, you fuckers. Hold on. I need to assess myself. Is this why I'm a transgender? I'm so confused.
I don't know. I really need to pay attention to people getting in the car now. But I thought like everyone got in butt first. Is that how I'm really questioning how I get into cars right now? I'm so gonna forget until tomorrow morning when I have to actually like get into my car again. But really? Is that a thing? And also, this is giving very pointlessly gendered vibes. But it's one of those things, like if it's actually like true for most men and most women, how they get into a car, it's just so funny if you do it like as a trans guy pre-transition and everyone's like, that's how a man gets into a car. Haha. Are you a man? And then suddenly you're just like, oh yeah, I am. Yeah. Honestly, that will also be funny. That would just be funny. But what? But for all the MB people, don't you just like get into a car in different ways on different days? Is that what makes you non-binary? Is that how this works?
So what are your pronouns?
Any. Like, I don't feel particularly connected to any set of pronouns, so just use whatever you feel comfortable with.
So your pronouns are they, them?
I mean, yeah, you can use they, them for me, but you don't just have to use they, them.
So what should I use?
You literally cannot mess up. Just whatever the fuck you're feeling, as long as you're not calling me it, good to go.
But the confusion. It's like, what do you mean, Eddie? What do you mean? I need you to be more specific. But the thing is, that is specific enough. Like saying, as long as you don't use it, it's okay, is enough. And you don't have to like settle on a pronoun. If someone says any, you can kind of use any. That's kind of the thing. If you can't talk like me, you will use the wrong pronouns for literally everyone and everything constantly. Because I grew up with sisters, I accidentally call them he sometimes because I cannot talk. And that will just literally happen with everyone.
The girlies who get it, get it. My gender fluid babies, my gender queer babies. You know when you just want facial hair, but just for a day, maybe once a week? Like...
Yes. I still don't know if I would actually look good with a beard. Don't ask me to grow a beard. A, I can't. And secondly, I feel like I would very easily get annoyed by it. Because it's scratchy. And I don't think I would like it. And I don't know how it would look. But honestly, if I could just like spontaneously grow it, I would probably just like rock it for a day and be like, you know, this is kind of cool. But then I'd like want to shave it off again. And then like having to grow it is just so annoying. But honestly, it would look pretty cool. And honestly, I would like spontaneously grow it right when I want to wear makeup. Because I'm often too lazy to put on makeup, and I'm not good with makeup. But makeup and beard together just looks so good. And you can't change my mind because it just does. How was the hair they had when they identified as queer, the typical bisexual hair? You know, just kind of like straight up just cutting a bob. I know that wasn't a bob, but kind of that hair length reads as very bisexual somehow. But oh well. Honestly, keeping long hair for the sake of having long hair is kind of rubbish. You know? And honestly, I think you could still definitely rock long hair. I mean, if you're like gender fluid, it's kind of easier probably to have short hair to kind of make it look either masculine or feminine depending on what you're feeling that day. Because a lot of people just view long hair as very feminine, and that's why it might be easier to like go for a more masculine aesthetic with short hair. But you could definitely still rock it if you wanted to. But you just look so much more comfortable as this video goes on. It's ridiculous because before, even if you pose properly and you smile, and to most people you're probably gonna look super cute and super fine. But if you know, you know, and you can kind of see it. I have to tell you, I used to sometimes carry my phone in my bra because women's pants pockets. And I was just kind of worried if I put it in the front pocket, it was super uncomfortable when I was sitting down because it was just like kind of stick itself into my hip. If I put it in the back pocket, I was super worried it was gonna like fall out. Or if I had to go to the toilet, it would just like straight up fall into the toilet. I was too worried that was gonna happen. So yeah, I did have it in my bra a lot. Which was also not the most comfortable, but it kind of felt safer than having it in my pants, you know, because I was at least not worried it was gonna fall. I don't think I had money in it that often, but it's kind of convenient to be honest. So yeah, I get it. But since I wore a binder for so long before getting top surgery, I kind of got used to just like having my phone in my pocket because I've only recently been starting to get women's pants again because somehow I was able to find women's pants that have pretty decent pockets. And if that isn't good news, the fact that people realized that, hey, women need pockets and started putting pockets back on women's clothes, I don't know what is.
6 things that have no gender. Colors. Clothes. Names. Makeup. Sports. Toys. Last but not least,
Agender people. Fair. I still can't decide if what I'm doing is like the absence of gender or kind of the opposite. It's just like being full of gender and just like hoarding genders. Am I a gender dragon or am I a gender? I can't tell you. I really can't. Because to me, gender still doesn't make sense. So if I'm hoarding them without understanding them, it might feel like I don't have a gender. Or I just really have the absence of gender, and that's why I'm so confused by it. I can't tell you. And at this point, I don't even really care anymore, but I'm very for things not being gendered. Because if you want to gender yourself, cool. Because if you're a woman and you like a certain color, I don't even think it automatically becomes a feminine color because the color itself doesn't change. I just think you get to do whatever the fuck you want, but people feel the need to color or to just like gender everything, like colors or clothes, makeup specifically. Oh my god, or sports. It's so rubbish. It's so rubbish. Food though, I don't know if you watched any pointlessly gendered video of me. I get most mad probably at people gendering food or like drinks because it's food. If you want to eat something, go eat it. Why do you? Oh my god, burgers are masculine. I can't eat them. If you don't like burgers, don't eat a burger. Fine, okay. But if you want to eat a burger, but you're afraid to eat a burger on a date because it might look masculine and you don't want to like scare your date off, girl, pull yourself together. If he's intimidated by you eating a burger, you have more important shit to worry about with that dude than you actually not looking feminine, I guess.
I'm a potato.
You're a tomato.
Potato?
No.
I thought I said I was a potato.
No, you're a tomato.
No.
What are you?
How's a potato?
What are you,
How's a
though?
potato?
But what are you?
She looks like a little
Tomato.
Tomato.
Listen. Listen, I would probably do the same thing. Because honestly, like especially when telling like cishet people, if they ask, because non-binary is kind of already difficult enough to get into their heads, but gender fluid, I feel like people aren't gonna take serious. That's not a reason to not own up to your label. But if you feel like you want to make it easier for yourself to explain, go ahead. But I don't get why people care so much about what other people label themselves as, because it is their label. They chose that label because they feel like it represents them. They feel like it helps explain themselves, you know? But why do you care so much how someone tries to explain themselves? Why do you care so much? But yeah, it's kind of the whole thing of saying, "Oh, I'm gay," when you're literally some other sexuality, but it just feels easier to just say, "Oh yeah, I'm gay." Do I say I'm gay way too often? Yes, absolutely. I'm not gay, but I am, you know? I mean, honestly, I'm glad if cis men wash themselves at all, that I don't really care how. Or if they like slap lotion onto their face. Honestly, you're taking care of your skin. I'm okay with that. It looks very aggressive and like unnecessary to do it like that, you know? Like, are you trying to keep your masculinity while putting on like lotion or taking care of your skin? That's ridiculous, bro. Same with girls, eat whatever the frick you want on a date. Like, who gives a shit? Men, taking care of yourself is okay. You need to stop being so worried about your masculinity, because literally who gives a shit? Oh no, you're taking care of your body. You're taking care of your skin, which is part of your body. Oh no, how could you? Y'all gender's ridiculous. This is why I hate it so much, because people limit themselves with it because they're like, yeah, no, I can't do that. Like, I have to pay attention that I upkeep this masculinity or femininity. And then they also go around policing other people. Like, if you want to make yourself miserable with it, go off. Go off, literally, it's your life. But the moment you start policing other people that they can't do certain things, you're crossing the line, man. I kind of love the hair. Like, it looks so androgynous in a way. And for someone who hates gender as much, it kind of makes perfect sense, but it also doesn't make sense at all that I love androgyny as much as I do. Because it makes perfect sense, right? But also kind of doesn't, because if I hate gender and think it's unnecessary to gender everything, why do I still like blurring of gender? Maybe because I just hate how obsessed people are with it. I don't know. But listen, I love it. But honestly, the top-notch gender euphoria of wearing a binder for the first time, of just like seeing it. I mean, to be fair, it never really goes away because you have to take your binder off at some point. Please bind safely, everyone. Don't wear it for too long. Just don't. You know? So you have to take it off, and then you kind of notice things again. But then you put it on again, and you just like look past, like look at yourself in a mirror, and you're just like, yeah, that's flat, that's nice. So it never really goes away, but the first time still hits kind of differently.
Hey, wait, real question. If someone is gender nonconforming and uses they, them pronouns, if they're being good in bed, what do you call them? You wouldn't say good girl, good boy. Like, you're such a good person. You're such a good individual. You're being such a good little Homo sapien for me, aren't you? What do you say?
Maybe just ask what they want to be called, because as much as I think not everyone would appreciate being called good boy or good girl anyways, maybe have a conversation beforehand of what they would like to be addressed at, you know? Because saying, "Oh, you're such a good person," might not be the sexiest thing to say in that moment.
My homies in Christ, why does God give his most banginest breasts to his most genderless soldiers?
I mean, honestly, I got kind of lucky because I had like A or B cups at most. I think I usually wore B cups, but I probably could have gotten away with A. It was not a lot going on, and it was bad enough, but it was very easy to hide at least. But yeah, I wish you all a very good breast reduction for those of you who want it. If I wouldn't think it would be very uncomfortable and very impractical when going to the bathroom, I would start carrying a non-binary flag in my pants. Yeah, I think maybe I just need to get like a very tiny one and just kind of, you know. But yeah, don't be ridiculous and learn to tell the difference between biological sex and gender. Please, thank you.
The girl boy, not girl, not boys, who not girl, not boy, girl boy. Floger Boylan.
Okay, I feel for all the gender fluid people who are packing for trips. Because, especially if you're flying somewhere and you have a limit on how heavy your suitcase is allowed to be, do you just always pay more for a second suitcase? Or for it to be heavier? Because, like, if you go somewhere by car, it's kind of fine. You can just like pack an extra bag of clothes or something. But if you fly somewhere, you're kind of fucked. Like, if you just go to the beach, you can kind of also just like pack several things. It's okay. Like, especially like swim clothes don't take that much space. But I feel for all the other gender fluid people, or people who generally have a very varying gender expression when they go on trips. Like, if you're at home, it's kind of chill, but if you go anywhere, it becomes a bit more tricky.
Welcome to everybody's favorite queer game show, Am I Attracted to You or Do I Want to Be You? Starring me, the gender-confused, can't-pick an aesthetic, 20-year-old who has never dated in their life. Stay tuned to find out more.
Okay, but if you would actually make this an entire game show, do you know how much the quiz would watch it? Because yes, it would be interesting. You could just like pick random queer people off the street and have them do it. And you would never run out of contestants or content for these contestants to react to. Honestly, it would be hilarious. I would watch the hell out of it.
I just had a conversation with my conservative friend, and we were talking about non-binary people. Now, he kind of has this thing where he's like, look, okay, I fully respect everybody. I will use whatever pronouns you want. Like, he's my buddy, okay? And I'm agender, so he's not, like, somebody who is actively trying to, like, perpetrate hate or something like that. But, you know, he just has this, like, deep internalized feeling that, like, I don't know, I just have some, like, problems with, like, non-binary people. I just, like, think that, like, sometimes they, like, mix up, like, gender and sex and, like, they don't recognize. And I was like, whoa, hold up. You think that non-binary people don't know that there's a difference between gender and sex? And he's like, well, no, because that wouldn't make sense because they wouldn't be non-binary. But, you know, I just think that, like, it was just, like, a lot of vague gesturing at, like, non-binary people not recognizing science. But I was like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. Out of all the people on the political spectrum, okay, the people who recognize that gender and sex are different the most are usually queer people on the left, okay? Because it's usually the right who are like, your gender is your biological sex. And it's like, okay, thank you, brain dead take. Anyways, all to say that he couldn't actually put his finger on why he had a problem with non-binary people. And after, like, a long line of, like, questioning, at the root of all this, like, vague gesturing of, like, they don't recognize science, even though, like, if you logically take it down the path of, like, well, you understand that, like, a non-binary person would still recognize, for example, me, that, like, I have female genitalia, so I go to a gynecologist. Like, I'm not over here thinking I'm delusional, like, I need to go see the non-binary doctor because, like, I have non-binary genitalia. It's like, no, I'm not fucking stupid. Trans people aren't fucking stupid, okay? They recognize what their sex is and they go to the appropriate scientific doctor to treat that. But it literally is, and this is what I find with so many, like, not, like, full-on conservative people, but, like, people who are, like, I'm socially progressive, fiscally conservative, whatever the fuck that means, because that's not possible. Economic things that you do lead to social outcomes, people. Anyways, side rant, but all to say that at the root of it, I was like, man, do you kind of just, like, deep down internally feel that, like, non-binary people are, like, cringy? And, like, mind you, we were plastered drunk while having this conversation, and he was like, I don't really know, like, and I was like, okay, when I grew up, because I grew up in a small town, conservative town, okay, there was not non-binary people around in this area, and I thought non-binary people were cringy because I didn't understand it. I just thought, like, they wanted attention because that's what everyone else around me was saying. So just to feel like part of the in-group, I also held that same sentiment. And then I grew the fuck up and made my own mind, and I was like, oh my god, wait a second, they're just, like, normal-ass people who just want to, like, express themselves differently than how I'm used to. And at the root of it, after talking to him, that was the answer. It was just, I think it's kind of cringy. So, you know, after that, I hope that, like, he kind of recognizes his own internal bias is, like, kind of silly, and he can, like, get over this weird feeling with non-binary people. Yeah, if you have the same feeling of just, like, I don't really know what it is about, like, non-binary people, and I can only, like, vaguely gesture at things that I don't like, it's probably just because you find them cringy. That's it.
There you go. This was kind of a long one. But honestly, just yes. I mean, I feel the ranting and taking a long time to get to a point. But I feel like in this case, it might have even been really necessary to tell, like, the whole story. But anyways, yeah. Honestly, when I was growing up, I didn't really get it either. I mean, in my household, maybe, it wasn't even, like, that gender specific. Like, it wasn't okay, you have to dress super girly because you're a girl, because I also got, like, hand-me-downs from, like, my male cousins and stuff. Like, it wasn't that gendered. But then as my sisters got older, it kind of started. I was always very confused about gender, but at the same time, because I didn't understand gender at all, I was so confused. I was so confused why people expected me to do certain things. But at the same time, I would go around being, like, kind of being very confused when people presented, like, in a very androgynous way, because everyone else would always, like, look at these people like, are they a boy or a girl? Like, why do they dress like that? Like, can't they just, like, dress for the gender? It's so rubbish. It's so rubbish. Please stop being a dickhead and stop teaching your kids bullshit. You know? And secretly right now, I'm just hoping that my sister isn't going to teach her daughter the same kind of rubbish, and just kind of lets her be the child she wants to be and not necessarily tries to gender everything. I'm hoping because otherwise it's gonna get really frustrating at some point, you know? But anyways, not the point. Yeah, maybe if you don't exactly know why you think something is weird, maybe you just think it's cringy, and maybe you just need to grow up and recognize that people are different, and people generally just get to express themselves in the way they want to express, whether or not you actually understand why they do it or why they like it, because you don't need to understand something to be able to recognize that it's a thing that people do, you know?
So ever since I came out as genderqueer a couple years ago, I've realized how cis people like don't take those things into consideration at all. Which I guess is like understandable if you're not like exposed to it and you're not part of the community, and I don't know, I guess you don't really have any reason to think about it. But since I'm not cis, I try not to use words like miss or ma'am or mister or sir when I'm at work, like, and when I'm like typing little notes, I'll be like, I spoke with them instead of I spoke with her, even though that's like not even talking to the person. But I don't know their pronouns, so I'm just going to use they or them if I don't know. And me being in my position, I feel like it's just common courtesy to be neutral so that you don't offend anybody or misgender anybody, you know? Or even like if I'm talking about somebody and somebody will be like, oh, are they a boy or a girl? I hate that question so much. Like, even if they are a boy or a girl, like, sometimes they're neither. Sometimes they're both. Like, I don't know. That question just really annoys the shit out of me. Like I said, I went on a date with this guy and he had a partner and blah, 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 blah. They're in a poly relationship. And somebody was like, oh, is their partner a boy or girl? And I was like, why do you assume it's a boy or girl? Their partner's non-binary, actually. But on another note, I received an email this morning from somebody from another office, and in their so at the end of an email, it'll say like your name and your phone number and the company you're with, all that shit. And next to their name, it says she, her, hers. And I was like, oh my God, I'm adding that to mine. I think that's super dope. That's real dope.
Again, I kind of feel the ramble of kind of jumping from topic to topic. Like, it's the same overall topic. People are weird about gender and it annoys the shit out of you, and people are obsessed with knowing other people's genders. Even though it literally makes no difference. If you say, oh, I went on a date with this guy, and after he went home to his partner because they're non-binary and because they're polyamorous and they live together, what does the gender of this person matter? Like, it wouldn't even matter. Like, the gender of the person you went on a date with wouldn't even really matter. Because if you tell me, oh, I went on a date last night, I'm not gonna with a boy or a girl. Was it a man or a woman? I'm gonna ask if you had fun, if it went well, if you want to see them again. They're kind of like normal questions, I guess. Because do I care if it's a boy or a girl? No. Do I care if you had fun? Yeah, because if we're friends and you're telling me about it, of course I want to know if you enjoyed yourself or if you want to see them again. You know? Like, I kind of feel like things are more important than gender. Like, are they a good person? Like, were they nice to you? Like, do you have similar interests? There are a million things you could ask after a date. And not ask about the date's gender, let alone, if they're polyamorous, the gender of their other partner or partners. Same with like dogs or pets in general. Like, people immediately being like, oh, but do you have a boy dog or a girl dog? Like, bro, it's a dog. It's a dog. I mean, sure, if you also have a dog and you don't want the dogs to get pregnant, you might want to check it before leaving them alone. You know, like if you want to leave them unattended in a room together to play, you know, maybe check first. But apart from that, does it matter? No. Absolutely not. What are you doing? But honestly, I kind of do the same thing because gender confuses me so much that when talking about people, I will so often just use gender neutral pronouns for random people. You know, like, unless I know, I will probably use they, them in videos a lot too. Unless someone like actually, like, especially with trans people specifically, because a lot of cis people will be like, no, obviously it's she, her, you know, but, or if someone says Like if someone posts a video of like their transition timeline and just says FTM, I'm probably gonna use like he him pronouns, but I might still use they them. I don't actually know. Probably both. You know, but if someone clearly indicates, hey, these are my pronouns, of course I'm gonna use them. You know? I just don't always check what I save a video. I'm sorry. But you know, anyways, I feel like maybe we can kind of reach a point, hopefully, where people don't obsess over gender so much, because people think like trans people or non-binary people are obsessed with gender. They kind of need to look in the mirror, because we do talk about gender a lot, but we're not as obsessed with it in this really weird way. You know? Because if we're obsessed with gender, we're obsessed with our own gender and how we express that gender, or if people respect that gender. We're not out here obsessing over literally anyone's gender that isn't our own, you know? Unless we want to steal it because we think it's cool. Then we might. But apart from that, I feel like y'all are just way more weird about it. Anyways, that was all the TikToks after today. I cannot get enough of queer TikTok in general, because like especially if I do like lesbian TikTok or gay TikToks, they're still fun. I still love doing them, but they're not as relatable, you know, because as much as I say I'm gay, I'm not that gay. That flavor of gay, that is it a flavor of gay? I'm just gonna call it that. But yeah, I don't know, just doing things that are so much more personally relatable, just kind of more fun, you know? But anyways, yeah, I hope you had fun. I hope you also found them relatable. And I hope you hydrated. If not, maybe go drink something now. And I'll be back in a couple days with my next video.